Hey everyone, before we dive in, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on stories like this. I stopped dead in the doorway the second my mother blurted out those words right in front of the whole group. Her voice cut like a knife, her gaze beaming with admiration for my sibling while shooting pure contempt my way. She really let it rip there in my own family room. But hold on, before I spill what went down after that, make sure you're subscribed because this tale is going to have you rethinking all you know about kin and trust. Smash that like button if you've ever been counted out. This one's dedicated to you. It was meant to be a relaxed Sunday drop-by, but my mom, dad, and brother Alex rolled up with a property broker in tow. Yeah, a property broker. I just stood there stunned as mom gestured around the apartment like she was flaunting it. We're putting it on the market this week, she declared triumphantly. Your brother's all set to settle in. Alex just grinned, his arms slung around his fiancée as if the keys were already his. Better get your boxes started soon, Sarah, he tossed out nonchalantly, like I was some renter who'd worn out my stay. My pulse was racing, but I pushed out a chuckle. You're joking, huh? This is my apartment. Mom's expression hardened. No, Sarah. It's ours. We only allowed you to stay here since you needed a breather after getting laid off. Alex earns this now. He's building a home. My fingers were quivering, not from scare, but sheer astonishment. I juggled 3 gigs to swing this spot. Each mosaic piece, every sofa, every lamp, I covered it all on my own. Yet there they were, claiming it was his. Alex snickered. Relax, Sarah. No need for drama. You know, Mom chipped in on the initial payment. That flipped the switch, my anger ignited. Mom chipped in? She didn't even know my lender. I ached to yell, but a voice inside whispered, hold up. I drew in a deep breath, acting like I was fighting tears. If that's the game, all right. What they had zero inkling about, what not one of them suspected, was that I held onto every receipt. Each document signed, every buck accounted for and stashed in my private storage. I observed them chuckling and scheming over my apartment's makeover, acting as if I were invisible. But inside, I was envisioning their expressions when I dropped the bombshell. They figured I was helpless. They assumed I was strapped for cash. They believed I'd slink off without a peep. Sleep evaded me that night. Mom's every remark looped in my brain. This is your brother's place. I plopped down on my family room floor, eyeing the file I concealed for ages. The one marked evidence of it all. Come dawn, my hurt had forged into steely resolve. If they aimed to fight unfair, I'd ensure each falsehood boomeranged right back at them in public view. So when Mom messaged, we're returning tomorrow with the broker to wrap it up, I shot back, great. I'll be prepared. They hadn't a clue what prepared truly meant. The following day, I scrubbed the apartment immaculate, not for their sake, but for the spectacle. When the bell chimed, Mom and Alex strutted in like nobility, Dad trailing and dodging my gaze. The property broker grinned courteously, notepad ready. Lovely spot, she noted, strolling about. Naturally, Mom cut in boastfully. It stayed in our clan for ages. My boy will be settling in shortly. I nearly burst out laughing. The audacity. I stayed silent as Alex flung open my kitchen cupboards and remarked, Sarah, no sweat. We'll redo this drab shade. His fiancée tittered nearby. Yep, something fresher. That pushed me over the edge. Know what? I spoke, my tone even but piercing enough to shatter the room's phony grins. Before you dive into redesigns, perhaps learn who really holds the title here. Mom sighed dramatically. Sarah, quit the theatrics. We covered this already. I grinned. Spot on. Let's review it thoroughly this time. I headed to my bedroom, grabbed my laptop, and accessed the protected directory. In moments, the display lit up with digitized files, the sales contract, financial records, loan installments, and the ownership deed, all in my name. I swiveled the screen their way. Spot this autograph? Mine alone, not yours, not Alex's. Each installment flowed from my funds, every penny from my grind. The space went hushed. The property broker peered in, scanning the details. Her brows shot up. Hold on. This apartment is entirely under Sarah Ross, no one else. Mom's grin fractured. Alex's complexion faded. You're faking it. Mom faltered. You claimed you couldn't swing it. I met her stare head on. You insisted I wasn't capable of anything, so I quit sharing my triumphs. The quiet that ensued roared louder than her yells ever did. And just as I figured the embarrassment peaked, Alex dropped a line that shifted it all. He grumbled, no big deal. She faked those docs regardless. That's when it hit me. My own sibling was gearing up to brand me a crook, and I was merely warming up to show how off base he was. The instant Alex claimed I faked the docs, a fuse blew inside. My palms shook, not from dread, but outright gall. I eyed him and murmured softly, "You truly want to head down that path, Alex? Accuse me of forgery before a certified broker?" He folded his arms. "Figure anyone will side with you over us? Mom straight up bailed you out post-layoff. She spilled it all. You were flat broke, frantic, and we handled your housing costs for ages." Mom bobbed her head fast. "Precisely. Sans us, you'd still be scraping by. You owe this crew." The property broker squirmed, adjusting position. "Perhaps postpone?" "Nope," I broke in, voice firm. "Clear it now." I launched another directory on my laptop. Tag payment verification. I scrolled through endless months of legit transfer confirmations from my profile, all directed to the lender, all linked to the apartment's loan. Then I displayed the closing note from my mortgage rep, verifying the full asset was cleared last December. "Hilarious," I stated, gaze fixed on Alex. "If you handle my housing, why is every transfer from my own checking? Why are the loan and coverage solely in my name?" Mom's mouth clamped shut. Alex's fiancé murmured, "Honey, maybe bail." But Alex pressed on with his self-sabotage. He inched nearer, aiming to loom. "You're bluffing. You tapped Dad's credit for this. His name's buried in the files somewhere." I grinned and faced Dad. "Care to straighten it, Dad?" He appeared ashamed. His words barely escaped. "Sarah, drop it. Not worth the clash." That hush spoke volumes. He was in on it. I inhaled deeply and declared, "Ah, so you did meddle." Mom barked, "Mind your attitude." But I pressed. "You never guessed I uncovered the messages between you and the lender, right? The ones plotting to shift title covertly with my phony sign-off." Mom's face blanched. Alex's bogus swagger evaporated. The broker stiffened, gaze bouncing among us. "Hold up. You're claiming they attempted unlawful title swap?" I affirmed. "Precisely. Hence my full digital copies, complete with message trail, dates, and my attorney's note that the switch bombed." The area hushed once more, now heavy with icy strain. Mom attempted words, but Alex overrode. "You're faking. If real, we'd have word by now." I smirked. "Oh, you will first thing tomorrow. Expect my attorney's ring, not the lender's." Alex's fiancé inhaled sharply. "Sarah, you're taking them to court?" I just locked eyes with my mother, now clutching her bag like a savior. "You crave my apartment that badly, Mom? Cool. Watch the court cost stack." But right as she bolted, she spun and uttered something that chilled my core. "Think you've triumphed, Sarah? You haven't a clue what your brother pulled in the shadows." And her glare screamed sincerity. Her statement landed like a gut punch. "You haven't a clue what your brother pulled in the shadows." I gawked at her, probing her face. But Mom just grinned, that familiar superior sneer when she felt in charge. Then she pivoted and exited, leaving Alex rooted. "What's that supposed to mean?" I snapped. Alex's jaw clenched. "Ignore it." I advanced. "Spill. What did you do, Alex?" He chuckled anxiously. "You're such a worrier, Sarah. Forever the martyr." But his gaze spilled the truth. They flicked everywhere except me. I crossed my arms. "You might have duped Mom and Dad, but lying's never been your strength." That's when his fiancée shattered the quiet. "Alex, come clean. She'll discover regardless." He shot her a glare. "But out, Mia." "Spill what?" I pressed, voice climbing. Alex exhaled at last, scratching his nape. "All right. Recall your loan snag last year? You blamed the lender?" "Yeah," I replied cautiously. "They said my app was in limbo for months." He grinned like it was a badge. "That was my doing. I leveraged bank ties to halt your profile. You were meant to clear that last chunk so quick." For a beat, words failed me. "You derailed my loan." He shrugged. "Just eyed the spot. You were squandering it solo." No family even. My chest constricted, fury blending with shock. You aim to wreck me for my home. He grinned anew. Not personal, Sarah. You always centered yourself. I'm the one do the sweet setup, not you. I gaped, thoughts whirling. So that's the holdup on my closing payment. That's the lost docs at the bank. Alex orchestrated it from the start. I breathed deep and stated, You figure you're invincible, huh? He leaned in. I know mom and dad back me eternal. You're just the spare sis with baggage. That's when it clicked. He wasn't merely envious. He truly resented my win sans him. But he missed I wasn't solo now. I had backup low-key ones. I snatched my phone, fired a text, one line. Cue the audio now. Alex furrowed. What audio? I smiled thinly. The one you'll catch soon. A voice boomed via the apartment speakers. Crisp capture of mom and Alex chatting days prior. His words reverberated. Soon as she inks it, I'll claim family shift to the bank. She'll be coolest till done. Alex paled. You wired mom's place? I cocked my head. Nah, just let my phone roll when grabbing stuff last week. Should have watched your words. The broker's eyes bulged. That's fraud proof. Alex lunged for my phone, but I dodged. Lay a finger and this heads to cops pronto. He halted, trapped in his web. Then my phone pinged, lawyer's update. I scanned and grinned. Ideal timing, I noted. He verified the notice is served. Alex's tone wavered. Notice. I stared him down. You and mom are under probe for asset scam and ID theft try. Mia gasped. Heavens. Alex blanched, his false bravado crumbling. But before relief hit, lawyer's follow-up buzzed. What I saw nearly buckled me. Sarah, ring me stat. Your clan's finances hide way more. And that's when it dawned. This eclipsed my apartment. My heart thumped as I dialed my attorney. His tone grave. Sarah, your brother tampered beyond the apartment. Larger plot. Your folks shifted funds via your ID for a year plus. Huh. I breathed, clutching tight. He went on. They set a dummy account with your SSN. Deposits tied to your apartment files. Pulls to your brother's venture. Unbelievable. So, ID theft and money washing through me. Yep, but your proof, messages, audio, statements, nails them solid. I ended and faced Alex, now fidgeting. You didn't just sign my home, I said low. You laundered via me. He stilled. Sarah, here, no, you hear. My voice quivered, but I held firm. Years labeling me frail, worthless, flop. Declaring I'd flop, now you face the badges. Then door rap. 2 cops entered, IDs out. Sarah Ross. Me. Fraud report on property. Chat with Alex Ross and Linda Ross. Alex ghosted white. Mom, re-entering, halted. Misunderstanding. She wailed, but futile. Cops escorted them as Alex yelled, You'll pay, Sarah. I viewed from the entry, eyes welling. Not sorrow, but release. After Ian's S0, I held line. I scanned the apartment, my apartment, and murmured they dubbed it his. But fact, always mine. That day, I safeguarded more than walls.